Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we break down the stories that matter, the ones shaking up your timeline and sparking real conversations. Today we are diving into a powerful and deeply emotional trending TikTok series that has the internet buzzing and the comment sections on fire. A black mother, exiled by her own community, finds what she calls her tribe in the MAGA movement, all while pleading for justice for her 23-year-old son, facing 21 years behind bars in Colorado. Her message is raw, is emotional, and is layered with pain, hope, and contradiction, but the internet didn't stay quiet. In fact, the response from progressive activists and everyday viewers has been intense, honest, and deeply divisive. From bold call out on political hypocrisy to heartfelt message of solidarity, this TikTok moment has turned into a mirror reflecting back the harsh reality of racial injustice, political alignment, and the cost of feeling abandoned by your own. So buckle up, we are about to explore why this story is hitting so many nerves and what it tells us about identity, justice, and who really stands with you when it counts. This is more than just a TikTok moment, it's a cultural wake-up call. Let's talk about it.
How it started.
Oh my God, I done found my tribe. I have been exiled by the black community. A lot of us have been exiled by the black community. But when I say the MAGA family, the AFF family, my snow bunnies, my Hispanic bunnies, oh my God, when I say the support has been mad real, I've been totally annihilated by our own. But we have been embraced by you guys. I have found my tribe. I am currently dealing with my son facing 21 years that this particular judge has sentenced him to. It is racial injustice. I am fighting to free my son and also free the masses and stop this judge from excessively sentencing our people. Black, brown, Latino, Afro-Latino. I just need you guys' support in helping to free my son. My son is 23 years old, and he is currently facing 21 years of incarceration due to racial injustice. My son was defending himself, and unfortunately, most black and brown people, individuals, whether you are a man or a woman, here in Colorado, do not have the right to use self-defense.
Did anybody else notice the wardrobe change? So this lady, the 7%, found her tribe. She found her tribe in MAGA. MAGA was welcoming. She had been exiled by the black community. Couldn't imagine why. Where are they now? You did a plea for your son in a MAGA hat, and it barely got any engagement. So you changed it to blue there at the end. And it's almost as if you know the demographic of people who would understand your predicament. In those videos, you're not talking to your MAGA friends. You weren't even talking to your MAGA friends when you had the MAGA hat on. You weren't talking to them because you know they don't care about you. They never did. You know that MAGA don't care about you. That particular judge, you said that they were blue? Sure, they might be. But you know who would have fought against that blue judge on your behalf? Us. Progressives. People who want and who have been fighting for change in our legal system because of the things that your son is going through right now. I'm sorry that your son is going through that. And that's real. I am. I have a son myself. I would never want him to go through what your son is going through. But that is why I vote on the right side of history. I vote for people who won't give cops immunity for unaliving my son. That's why I won't vote for people who put money into private prisons so that they can have slave labor and mass incarceration of our people. I vote to save my son. You vote for people who would see him rot in that prison cell. It would be nice if we could normalize not othering black and brown people. But that is what you voted for. You voted for the candidate that othered black and brown people. Your MAGA tribe, they didn't care about you then and they don't care about you now. They needed your vote, so they accepted you in for that reason. Those same people support othering black and brown people. Whenever they think of black people, they think hood and ghetto. They think walk on the other side of the street because we are dangerous. That is the lie that they have perpetuated about us to get your son to be in the situation that he is in right now. Your son is not viewed as human, is not viewed as someone who deserves the right to defend himself. They want us incarcerated. You spoke in one of your videos about equality. Ma'am, they brought back segregation. Do you think they give a crap about your son? Your tribe would be okay with your son not going to their schools, not swimming in their swimming pools, not drinking out of their water fountains. That's your tribe. So I say again, you changed your wardrobe at the end there to a stark blue. Why? because you know that MAGA, they are not your tribe. Where are they now? They don't care about your son, and they never will. To them, to your tribe, your son would be better off spending 21 years in prison.
Did you know in 1930s Germany? Yeah, there's a bad time for Jewish people. Did you know there were some Jews that supported Adolf? Why would they do that? Money. They thought they was going to be part of the club. It didn't turn out that way for them, though. Look up the song, I Never Thought the Leopard Would Eat My Face. Because that's what leopards do. When they needed your vote, when they needed a token, sure, they'll use you. But eventually, leopards do what leopards do. They will eat your face. I don't understand when a black person or a Latino person or a gay person or a trans person or a non-Christian person votes for Trump. I don't understand none of you motherfuckers. Because trust me. Go look up the song, I Never Thought the Leopard Would Eat My Face. Go ask the Jews from the 30s how that worked out for them. You're not part of the club. And they're not going to welcome you in to keep you along just as long as they need you.
Please go back and watch that video in its entirety before watching this one. It is important. This message is not just for disaffected black people who mistakenly joined in with white supremacists thinking that we would somehow upset and hurt everybody else without being a victim of their cruelty. This is also for the white people who invite black people into those spaces to be taken advantage of, and the white people who were disaffected and being taken advantage of in the exact same way, but you're going to be later on the schedule than the, in your people's tongue, niggers. Hi, I'm Mosquito Jones, and I specialize in ugly topics, and today I would like to talk about the manipulation of people who spot the disaffected and take advantage of their anger. And I'll be trying to stick to using only myself as the subject of examination, because that makes it a lot easier for everyone to swallow the lesson. For some background, I grew up a Republican in Alabama, in Mobile, surrounded by multiple groups of people. I grew up on the black side of town in Pritchard. I popped up over in West Mobile with white people. I ended up in Chickasaw with a different type of white people. I've been all over that fucking city. Then I moved to Birmingham. Similar experiences as far as the demographics. Back then I held a lot of anti-black beliefs, specifically because of the way I was treated by other black kids. They would ostracize and mistreat me, been attacked several times, I've been robbed before. Bad things have happened to me, and usually it's at the hands of black people. Because of my minimized exposure to white people, the number of things they've done against me are much, much, much lower. Some of them are worse than anything black folks have done to me. In particular, Daphne Lynn Baker, back in Mobile, decided to accuse me of chasing her around with a knife, and my family was evicted the very same night. Everyone knew she was lying. The property management was just racist and didn't like the fact that black people were living in West Mobile. But as I grew, again, most of the things that was hurting me was coming from other black people. And as such, I developed animosity. I grew to associate a lot of stereotypes with other black people and saw myself as different. But fortunately, I never made it all the way to the alt-right pipeline because I saw through it when I was a child. I knew it was nonsense. And that's kind of the reason I'm safe right now. And that's because no one came along to take advantage of me being disaffected and angry at everybody. Had they done so, I'd have been in the same spot this person was, happily celebrating when they were in a dominant position, specifically because I would feel I'm in a special demographic against those that they're oppressing. But the simple fact is, you're not special, you're just useful. The minute that you're no longer in alignment with their goals, or you show any kind of disapproval of them, you're right back to where you were before, a target. For those in Black MAGA who aren't still not learning their lesson, do you remember the January 6th invader who was black and got 5 years, whereas so many other folks got months? Many of them didn't even go to prison. Do you remember all of the other black people that joined up with MAGA and felt they were excluded or exiled from the black community, before that, but then blamed joining MAGA for the reason that they were excluded? The people taking advantage of that know what they're doing. They know that they don't care about you. They expect you to act like you care, and then to carry out their needs, and then to expect nothing in return because your payment was being accepted. And it really is a shame that this happens to people who have already been traumatized by life as it is, because they will have no recourse for healing once they're discarded. One of the reasons I started Project Repatriate is to help anyone who's fallen into the alt-right pipeline to break out of it. Unfortunately, a lot of them simply don't want that. They need to see a consequence before they're willing to do so. And hopefully, if you've watched that video, saw the journey she's faced, and know what's coming to her, you'll make a better decision about your future. MAGA has never, ever, 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 ever helped black people. It's not intended to. And if you're one of the few black people who has been quote-unquote accepted by their movement, I promise you it's just because your skin lets you say what they want to say without consequences. You're still being used. And the very minute that you're no longer useful to them, you will be discarded. If you feel that you've been exiled, ask yourself what you can do to stop that, what you could have done to change that. Because in the end, if you're not being accepted by a community that wants to bring you home, that's your fault. If you're still basing your adult behavior on the way you were treated as a kid or as a teenager, that's on you. And if you're willing to inflict harm on folks who have had nothing to do with you, based on what people who have only had... And if you're willing to invite harm on people who have done nothing to you, based on things that happened to you way, way back, you need to look in the mirror. It's time for therapy. A lot of us need it, but you're not going to get anywhere with it if you continue with the same train of denial. You only joined this cruel group of people as an act of revenge.
Oh my God. That's terrible. Wait. This you?
MAGA family, AFF family, Trump supporters. Oh my God, I done found my tribe.
Well, I'm going to hold your hand with a napkin in between when I say this. Go ask your tribe. Because us over here, the 92%, we attended the cookout with Kamala on November 5th. But you, with the other 8%, wanted to go to the picnic, and now you're upset because your son is the Nick they picked? I'm not understanding. The switch up is crazy. Now you're wearing blue. You're using blue hearts. You're talking about some free the masses. You're using the black power fist. Stink a butt. Call it a J-Lo concert ticket. No one's buying it. You are getting exactly what you voted for. You voted for the racist felon, and they say, you know what? Let's double it and give it back to her. So now you got 4 more years, and your son is facing 21. The 2-for-1 felon deal goes great. Girl, what did you think was going to happen? The leader of your tribe was going to give your son a pardon too? Didn't nobody tell you that was an all-white party? Unfortunately, there's been a tariff placed on thoughts and prayers, so I don't have those for you. But maybe it's time to put back on your cape. You know, this one? It's fun to stay at the J-A-I-L. Or whatever the song said, girl. I don't know. Peace and love. Talk to you later.
You know what is heartbreaking? Watching a mother beg for justice for her son's life while wrapped in the flag of a movement that will just as soon ignore her pain. The trending TikTok videos we are talking about today are hard to watch, not because they lack clarity, but because they highlight a brutal truth that identity, politics, and belonging are being weaponized in ways that hurt the very people they claim to represent. Let's talk about this woman, the mother whose son is facing 21 years imprisonment for what she says was self-defense. Her son, a 23-year-old black man, caught in the unforgiving grip of the Colorado legal system. And here's the part that makes people pause. She thanks her MAGA tribe. She praises her conservative, often far-right supporters, calling them her real family, after being exiled in her wars by the black community. Now, it would be easy to dismiss her as never mislead or even attention seeker, but that would be too simple and unfair, because what we are really seeing here is a desperate attempt to feel seen, to be heard, to be understood, and when you are screaming into the void, you will take any echo that sounds like support. And for her, that echo came, at least temporarily, from MAGA followers, snow bunnies, and others who show her a version of acceptance, or so she thought. But here's where it gets complicated. In one of her videos, she's wearing a bright red MAGA hat and the plea for her son barely makes a ripple. The views are low, the engagement is dry, the support is silent, so she does something interesting. In the next clip, she switches to blue, substitute shifts but was symbolic. Suddenly the tone changes, she's no longer talking to MAGA, she's talking about them. She's addressing the progressive, the very people who once seemed to distance herself from her. And in that shift, something becomes crystal clear. She knows who really listens. Because here's the truth, that her heart clearly knows, even if her public stance hasn't fully caught up. The people fighting to keep her son out of prison, they are not the ones who want to make America great again. They are the ones who are fighting to redefine what greatness even looks like in America. The ones pushing for criminal justice reform, ending qualified immunity, challenging racial biases in courtrooms. The same people MAGA often paints as enemies of the state. And that is the tragic irony. The very tribe she claims her own, MAGA stands on policy that contributed to her son's incarceration. They are the ones who back law and other judges. The ones who resist any movement to humanize young black and brown men in the justice system. The ones who see self-defense as a right unless you are not white. Let's be real, if her son were white, gun owning, and living in a red state, defending himself might have earned him a GoFundMe and a Fox News segment. But because she's black, in Colorado under a system that historically criminalized his skin tone because his actions are even-heard, he's facing 2 decades behind bars. That is the difference. And here's what people are calling out in the comments. They are not attacking this mother because she loves her son. That love is clear. That desperation is real, and they are calling out the coercive dissolvency, the emotional disconnect between her alliances and her reality. Because what she hopes MAGA offers and what MAGA actually stands for. You can't speak about racial injustice while aligning yourself with a political movement that refuses to acknowledge it. You can't say my son is being over-sentenced because she's black and then vote for judges, DS, and governors who champion mandatory minimums and profit-driven prison system. You can't wear that hat and cry for mercy from a system that your heart heads upon. And the community sees that. Black TikTok creators, progressive activists, and allies of all backgrounds have flooded the comment section not with mockery, but with truth, painful truth. Many have shared their own stories of being ignored by conservative courts, their own battles for recognition. Some have even said, "Ma'am, we have stood beside you, we are standing beside you because you choose to walk away from us." This isn't about counseling a mother in pain, this is about holding up a mirror. This is about showing how the fight for justice can happen in isolation from the truth. The same mother said in her video, "I'm fighting to free my son and free the masses." But the question then becomes, what side of the lines are you fighting from? Because when you vote for people who make it harder for black boys to walk free, when you support policy that favor incarceration over rehabilitation, when your tribe is silent while your heart is breaking, then it's not a tribe, it's a costume, one that they let you wear for convenience, not compassion. And the wardrobe change, that doesn't go unnoticed. When you switches from red to blue, it wasn't just fashion, it was revelation. It was the moment the marks slip. It was the silent confession that you know who the real allies are, that the people you are trying to distance yourself from are the only ones still showing up. And that is where the heartbreak deepens, because this is not just one mother. This is a story happening across the country in families, people trying to survive systems designed to punish their existence, people getting desperate for belonging, for visibility, for hope, and sometimes that desperation leads them to the wrong door, only to be left standing there alone when reality hits. We need to stop playing political cosplay with people's life. Stop pretending that the symbols are more powerful than systems. This mother is in pain. Her son's future is on the line, but the solution is not found in red hearts or blue tears. It's in the truth, in accountability, in coalition, and most importantly, the policy that see young black men as worthy of protection, not prison. We can feel sorry for her son and challenge her choices, We can emphasize with her griefs and speak truth to her illusion. Because what is at stake is bigger than one family, is the soul of justice in this country. To that mother, if she ever hears this, we do care about your son. Many of us have sons too, and we are fighting for him, even if you don't see it yet. But it's time to stop mistaking temporal acceptance for true allies. Because when the camera are off and the crisis fades, it's the people you ignored who are still marching, still voting, and still fighting for the world your son deserves. If this commentary moved you, challenged you, or even made you pause to think, be sure to like this video, share your thoughts in the comment, and subscribe for more deep dive breakdowns of the stories shaping our community. So, thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay grounded, and above all, stay human. Until next time.